Welcome back to the podcast. My name is Joseph Clough, and this is episode 683. Now, in this episode, we are talking about how you can let go of negative memories. Now, before I get into a mini process, like how can we do this, just like we did on episode 681. So if you didn't get that one, look into it, because we did two kind of cool processes on like how we can react differently, react more calmly. This one is more about obviously the memories, but let's get into what they are and why they're there, and then how to actually do this. So, of course, as we go through life, from the beginning of you to the end of you, we're going to have events along the way which are going to have certain charges to. Now, the memory of brushing your teeth in 1999 on that January the 1st at 7 a.m., the chances are you're not going to remember it because it hasn't got much meaning to it. But on the other hand, there are other events where we graduated maybe. I didn't, I dropped out, but that's still a memorable memory. There's going to be events, maybe we had a child, maybe you got married, whatever it is. There are good positive events there which are so much more meaningful. And if they're more meaningful, they will have a certain charge to it. And in the same way, if we have a negative memory, say we go through what I would call a significant emotional event, it will have a negative charge around it. And now what I mean by that is this. Now, for those listening onto the podcast, you can just either imagine me do this, or you can just go ahead and do it physically. You can put your fist out right in front of you. And as you put your fist there, then that is going to represent a memory. Now, if it's charged with, say, a negative emotion, you can take your other hand and put it around, like wrap it around that memory of that fist. That is how I see memories. Now, it could be stacked up with, say, anger, sadness, fear, guilt, hurt, frustration, jealousy, shame, all of those things. But that memory is stacked up with a certain emotion. And the reason why, because it has a level of meaning attached to it. Now, you may be asking, and if you don't, it's always good to ask this question, well, why do we keep negative emotions in the body? Like, why would our unconscious mind, which is the storehouse of our memories, choose to keep those memories charged with a negative emotion? Well, they'll stay there because it hasn't been dealt with yet. In other words, if you've gone through traumatic events, or if you know people, sometimes they even forget about the event because it was so traumatic, the unconscious mind buried it so deep, it represses it. But when it's time to let it go, it will bring it up to the surface to let it go. That is why when people talk to me or my team about letting go of the issue, they may feel emotions. I remember in my private practice, people would cry when we're doing a consultation. I go, oh my goodness, I never cry. Well, it's because the unconscious mind trusted me, because it felt comfortable, although we just met, to bring that emotion up because it wanted to let it go. Sometimes, though, it doesn't know how to let it go. That's going to be the key main point here. One of the reasons, though, if we go a little bit deeper, think of, say, an event which has some level of negative energy attached to it, therefore anger, sadness, fear, guilt, hurt, frustration, shame, jealousy, and fill in the blank for any other emotion I didn't list there. It's going to keep it because it thinks intentionally it's trying to protect you. So be very clear on this. Although I'm going to guide you through a mini exercise, please commit to resolving the root cause. It's usually going to be an identity belief system. Okay, that's the usual of what it is. So you've heard me probably talk about it before, but our beliefs create up our world. The beliefs create our feelings. The beliefs and identity creates how we act and react. So take care of that, but still utilize this process. But every emotion attached to that memory has a positive intention. What is the positive intention of fear? Well, It's to try to protect us. Fear is trying to make us be aware of what might happen. We think of anxiety as about what might happen. If we have negative emotion, let's go for another one that I mentioned, like anger. That's still a level of protection because maybe one of our boundaries have been violated, so we get angry, we get resentful. Let's take, say, guilt or shame. Guilt and shame has a positive intention of protection because we don't want to do that, say, so-called bad thing again. Whether it was bad, because sometimes we have a distorted belief system about what is bad and what isn't based on that identity complex that we may have or identity conflict we have. But we could say intentionally, not the behavior, not the emotion, the intention of why your unconscious mind holds that memory so strong, so charged with a negative emotion, is to try. I emphasize try because in English it really means tried. Like tried to do something. That's why I say, well, I'm going to try to make it on time. We're fooling ourselves. Most of the time, it's not going to happen, right? If we go, I'm going to do it, we know we're going to more likely do it. But it tries to keep us safe by having these emotions. Now, every negative memory that you have an association to it. So not only is it charged with a negative emotion, you'll have a representation of that memory. Otherwise, you wouldn't know what that memory is. So if we are to let go of the memory, there are a few things that we've got to do. Now, in my main flagship program, I do a process within there which lets go of really deeply powerful stuff, but it's far more intense. Like I said, it is a paid content. There's my main program, but still I want to share with you some ways that you can deal with this. So if we think about it, that memory that you have an association to it. An association to it. And that association has meaning attached to it. Just like I said on episode 681 about how to react calmly around people, I said that you will have a picture in your mind of the person that causes you to feel in a very overreacted way, in a disempowering way, a stress state, because we feel provoked. And I said, well, when you think about that person, do you have a picture? Everyone will do, even if you're not crazy visual. I also said, notice the sounds, notice the feelings, because if it has meaning, it's going to have those three categories of visual, auditory, and kinesthetic. Visual, how we see it. Auditory, how we hear, if there are any sounds, and kinesthetic, which is our feelings. So, here's the mini process that I'd like you to go ahead and do. Now, of course, this will necessitate that we're going to have a bit of eye closure here. So if you're driving, you're not going to be doing this. If you're operating machinery, you're not going to be doing this. Only follow on, press pause, revisit later once you can do this as a process in your mind, okay? So, here's what we're going to do. I want you to think about, in fact, go ahead and close your eyes, and as you close your eyes, I want you to notice and bring to your attention, only if it's safe and good to do so. So I'm not talking about crazy traumatic things, but just like practice with this. Let's be gentle. Think of maybe a memory that just doesn't feel very nice. Something subtle, but it doesn't feel very nice when you think about it. Not crazy traumatic, like I said, just something you can start to practice and then build into that or get one-to-one help and all those things, which I always advise to do. As you think of that memory, notice how you represent it in the mind. In other words, how you see it, the visuals. Maybe you're running it through like a little kind of movie. Maybe it's a little bit kind of vague. Maybe there's colors attached to it. Maybe there's a frame around it. Maybe you're in the picture, which usually memories will be that way. It starts to distort it that way. So just notice visually how you represent a subtle negative memory that we can practice with. Now, as you do that, notice any sounds. Notice any feelings. because I'm sure there's going to be a mild bit of irritation. There's going to be a mild bit of, I don't like this. Just notice the visual, the sounds, and the feelings. Now here's what I want you to do next. I want you to park that to one side and now bring up to your mind a hilarious, funny memory where you just maybe fell down laughing, or a time where you just cracked up, a time where you just kind of, like when you think about it, you start to smile and you start to kind of laugh a little bit. Whatever it is, just think of a funny memory. It could even be watching something funny, like a movie or a TV show, whatever it is for you, and now bring that memory up. Notice how you can see that memory completely different. It's charged with an emotion of humor attached to it. And then what I want you to go ahead and do, notice the sounds, notice the feelings. Where do you feel that laughter? Is it in the cheeks? Is it in the chest? Is it in your voice when you think about it? Notice that kind of laughter on the inside. Now what I want you to do is bring back the old memory which we don't really like, which has that negative charge. Now bring that funny memory right up in front of it. So now you can't even see that negative memory. And allow then that image, and it's weird to be able to visualize this, that funny memory going behind it. So in other words, you see in your mind the event which is a little bit icky, but now behind it, we kind of feel like there's a bit of humor behind it. Now bring another time in your mind where you felt totally powerful, when you felt so strong, so good, and so great. Bring that memory right up in front of you, and as you notice the powerful feelings where you felt strong, you felt in control, you felt powerful, allow that picture to go in front of that memory, which was a little bit icky. And as you put it in front of it, you can keep the feelings there as you allow that picture to move behind it. So it's just in front of the humorous one, and it's just behind the icky memory, which we're kind of trying to let go of or change the association with. Now go ahead and bring another memory up. You can choose what kind of feeling would you like to have. Like the energy, if you had, maybe it's like a memory of just like, it happened, let it go, whatever it is. Bring up another memory which you feel would either be empowering to have or something which will take away negative energies. Bring that memory right up in front of you and feel the feelings that memory would have. See what you'd be seeing, hearing what you'd be hearing, feeling what you're feeling, and now allow that memory to go right on top of that icky memory. And allow that memory to move behind it. So each time a new image goes, it kind of starts to just transform that icky memory. Now bring back that humor one and cycle through it. Allow that funny feeling to go all the way in front of that memory, right in behind. Now bring back that powerful memory and go ahead and bring that right up in front and move it right behind. So each time it goes through that negative, icky memory, it starts to get a bit of humor, a bit of power to it. Now bring back the one that you chose. That was your custom choice memory, and allow that memory to go right up in front of that icky memory and allow it to go through it and behind it. And keep on cycling it. So each time a new memory just goes right up on top and moves behind it, right up on top and moves behind it. You can bring other memories into this, times when you've achieved something, times where you felt so excited, or maybe times when you've forgiven. But bring those memories and just pile them right up on top of that icky memory passing through, so you have all that good and greatness, the humor, the forgiveness, the power, the control, the achievement, all of those memories behind it. Now what we're doing here is we're contaminating in a good, positive way that old memory with these new empowering feelings. So allow those feelings to increase. The good, great feelings that every time you think of that memory, you're now going to ask yourself, what can I learn from this? What can I learn from that memory with those new feelings attached, that once I learn will allow me to digest the negative emotions? In other words, to process those memories, to process those emotions in a way that allows you to be safe. You see, that negative emotion attached to those negative memories are not protecting you. So wouldn't it be better to learn? Wouldn't it be better to just allow you to feel good? Allow yourself to just be liberated. So allow those good feelings, and yes, to allow you to relax, allow you to feel powerful, allow you to feel strong. Like we're stacking up all these positive memories that allow you to feel good and in control. And those memories just pile up on top of that old event, and it just goes through it and behind it. And we cycle through continuously to the point that you begin to cycle so much that when you try to think of that old memory, although it's still a memory, the emotion is different. Maybe it's fully been processed. Maybe it's taken off the tinge of it. Maybe it is just getting better each time you do. But every time you do this, cycle through those memories, the new empowering ones. So every time that old icky memory has all these new memories going through it and behind it, in front of it and through it and behind it, that after a while those old emotions just don't hold anymore. They just don't have power over you. And remember, ask yourself, what can I unconsciously learn that once learned will allow me to feel more powerful, stronger, more liberated, and allow me to feel good? And if you've done that a number of times, you may want to repeat this process, but I want you to do it like 20, 30 times. For when you do, you start to reprogram how your unconscious mind begins to do so. So when you're ready, you can now start to open your eyes and come all the way back. You see, that is a simple 5-10 minute idea and process that allows you to start to process and dissolve the emotions by oversaturating it with new feelings. Like I said, we're not deleting memories here. We're just changing how we associate with them. We're changing how they're stored and coded in the mind. And you have the power to do this in any situation. And like I said, please make sure that not only do this process, but take care of the real core issue behind it too. That is something I can't do on these videos or this podcast if you're listening to it on the podcast or the app, because everyone is completely unique of how they believe about themselves, how they operate, how they feel like maybe they're the imposter, maybe they're doubting their own ability, like they're gonna get found out. All of those things are very unique to your makeup. So yes, use this and put it in your toolbox, but make sure you really go ahead and resolve the root cause. Resolve the root cause at an unconscious level. Because in the exact same way the unconscious mind stores those memories, has those negative charges attached to them, just in the same way it has the positive memories, you have to make sure that the unconscious mind resolves the root cause of the conflict that you're going through. And as I said in the beginning, it's usually an identity conflict, because that dictates how you feel. That dictates it dictates how you're going to act and react in the future, because your belief is powerful. Whether it's a bad one, like I am not good enough, or I'm not of value, or I'm not deserving, or I am good enough, I am worthy. The different belief that you have will allow you to shine or allow you to shrink down. So make sure you go ahead and do that. Now, this is not for everyone, and I say this every time I mention this, because we only want to work with the right kind of people, because we want to get the right results for the right kind of person. But if you experience the imposter syndrome, if you feel like you're going to get found out, you feel like, oh my goodness, I don't think I can perform, I've achieved a good level of success, but I don't know how to maintain it. All of those things, you're a professional, you're an entrepreneur, My program is designed to just work with those kind of people. It's how I set it up. It's who I love working with. It's just what I am as well, an entrepreneur and business owner, and I'm really interested about developing my career in every single way. You can go ahead and book your call with us, and that's at josephclough.info/talk. josephclough.info/talk. What you do is you go ahead and book up a breakthrough call. You fill out an application. It is application only. And you fill out some answers to prepare the team for this. We'll get clear on exactly where you are, exactly what you want to achieve, what's unconsciously getting in the way, and we'll come up with a plan to make it a reality. All within 8 weeks, we let it all go. That's what I do day in, day out. We get the results in every single way. It's fully customized for your needs. Think of a world-class program. I'm so down with that belief system about it. It gets results, and therefore, you've got to be resourceful, dedicated, and take massive and inspired action for what is right. Now, like I said, it's not for everyone. So only do that if you feel like it resonates with you. But if it does not resonate with you, I'm still here to help you. You see, I have my free hypnosis app. On freehypnosis.app, you can download the app from Android to Apple. On the Apple App Store. Download the app and go ahead and create your own custom tracks on there. You can have hundreds of free hypnosis in there. Literally 100+ free hypnosis sessions in the free section, at the very least. And on top of that, you can transform in the day, you can transform in the night by listening to one of the titles. You toggle it over and it becomes a new nighttime version. Of course, if you're enjoying the app, please go ahead and leave a review. That, if you're got something from one of my podcasts, free episodes, go ahead and leave a review. You don't know who you're going to help by putting your words on a review there. It is going to be fantastic. Other people, we live in a world of cynics. We live in a world of people, what's all this about? I can only say so much, and I can't say so much on just the little app there. But people do look at reviews and they'll read your words and go, yeah, maybe this is for me. And maybe we can help them for free or for something so small like unlocking the whole app. Please go ahead and do that. It makes my day if you can. If you're getting value, I know then you are wanting more. In fact, leave a review and say, look, Joseph, talk about this subject on the review. I will be looking at those and I'm going to do a subject about that. That's probably the best way of getting my ideas on a review, by the way. I'm going to make that a little good idea for me. But I hope you enjoyed this episode, and always know, look, you have everything it takes to make your world happy, to enlighten illusionary darkness. For to me, there's only love. That's my idea. And I just want you to be able to live, love, be of purpose in your mission, your ambition, in every single way. So I hope you enjoyed this episode. I look forward to speaking to you on a future one. Many thanks and goodbye.